Hello friends, welcome to the MS studies. So today's our topic is the structure of the heart, right? So we know that heart is heart is a very specialized, it is a very specialized organ of the human body, right? So it is the very specialized organ of the human body and highly vascularized and has highly muscularized and hollow structure, right? So it is a specialized organ of human body. It is specialized organ of the human body and it is hollow and muscular, right? So it is the specialized organ of the human body and it is hollow, muscular and vascularized organ of the human body, right? So heart is the specialized and highly muscularized and vascularized organ of the human body, right? And if you see the walls of the heart, right? So before going to the walls of the heart, we will look about the location where exactly it is present, right? So first one is the location of the heart, right? So heart, it is present obliquely, somewhat obliquely at the center of chest, right? So it is present at the center of chest, but it is situated as present as obliquely, slightly obliquely present at the center of the chest, right? And it present above the diaphragm. It's present above the diaphragm and obliquely present at the center of the chest, right? And it is placed between the lungs, right? It is placed between the lungs. That plate is called as mediastinum, right? So the space or place present between the lungs is called as mediastinum, right? So at the mediastinum, the heart is located, right? So it is the location of the heart and it is slightly present or slightly situated left side. It slightly turns towards the left side, right? So this is the location of the heart. And if you see about the weight or measurement of heart, right? So if you see the weight of heart, normally it is about 250 gram to 350 gram. In some other books, they may give 300, 320, depending upon the book, depending upon the human body capacity, right? So it is normally ranges from 250 to 350 gram, right? And if you see the length, it is about 12 centimeter in length and 9 centimeter in width, right? So it is 12 centimeter in length and 9 centimeter in width. If you see the size of the heart, it's about the fist of the individual. It is the closed fist, okay? It is the closed fist of the individual, right? So this is the measurement and weight of the heart. It ranges from 250 to 350 gram and it is about 12 centimeter in length and 9 centimeter in width. And if you see the size of the heart, it is about the closed fist of the individual, right? So this is about the location and weight and measure of the heart, right? So second one is, we'll come to the actual topic. We'll begin here. So we will look about this. So we will discuss about now walls of the heart. Wall of the heart, right? wall of the heart. Okay, so heart is mainly consist of, or it is mainly made up of 3 layers. Okay, the wall of the heart is made up of 3 layers. So first one is pericardium, and second one is myocardium, and third one is endocardium. Right? Pericardium, myocardium and endocardium. So these are the 3 layers of the heart. Okay, we will see one by one. So first one is the pericardium, right? So pericardium is that it is the outermost covering of the heart. Okay, so pericardium totally covers the outermost portion of the heart. Okay, it is outermost protective and connective tissue of the heart, right? So pericardium is the outermost protective as well as connective tissue of the heart. Okay, so this pericardium is again have the 2 layers. That is, one outer layer is called as outer fibrous layer and inner serous layer. Okay, outer fibrous layer and inner serous layer. Okay, so these 2 are the layers of the pericardium, right? So this inner serous layer is again divided into or subdivided into 2 layers. One is outer parietal pericardium and inner visceral epicardium, right? So this pericardium is have the 2 layers. One is outer fibrous layer and another one is the inner serous layer, right? So again this inner serous layer is again subdivided into 2 layers, right? So one is the outer parietal pericardium and another one is the inner visceral epicardium, right? So between these 2 there is some fluid is present. That fluid is called as pericardial fluid, right? So the space, there is a space between outer parietal pericardium and inner visceral epicardium, right? So there is a space between these 2. That space is filled by pericardial fluid, right? So where exactly this came from, right? That is the question, right? So where this came from? This pericardial fluid is secreted from the simple squamous cells or simple squamous epithelium, right? Simple squamous epithelium, right? So this pericardial fluid is secreted from the simple squamous epithelium. Okay, this simple squamous epithelium is present or it is lying at the inner surface of this visceral epicardium, right? So this inner visceral epicardium is lined by simple squamous epithelium, right? So this simple squamous epithelium will secrete this pericardial fluid, right? So what is the function of this pericardial fluid, right? So this pericardial fluid's main function is to protect heart from mechanical shock. Okay, so what it will do, it will protect from the protect the heart from the mechanical shock, and resist, gives low or resist to the, it will provide low resistance or negligible resistance to the contraction. Okay, so it will lowers the resistance of the contraction, right? So it will protect the heart from the mechanical shock, and it will resistance, it will decrease the resistance of the contraction, right? So this is the function of the pericardial fluid. So this is about the pericardium. It is the outermost layer of the heart wall, right? And second one is myocardium. Okay, myocardial layer, which is second layer of the heart wall, right? So second one is the myocardium, right? Second one is the myocardium. So what it is? This myocardium is just present below the epicardium, pericardium, sorry. So this myocardium is just present below the pericardium, right? So this myocardium is characterized by the presence of a special muscle cells. Okay, it is characterized by presence of special muscle cell, special muscle, or that special muscle is called as cardiac muscle, right? So myocardium, it is present just below the pericardium, right? So this myocardium is characterized by presence of a special kind of muscle. That special kind of muscle is nothing but this cardiac muscles. We know that. So this cardiac muscle is involuntary in function. This is involuntary function. It means it is not in our will. Okay, it will work its own decision. It will take its own decision. It is not in the control of our will, right? And it is striated muscle. Striated muscles, right? It is striated and involuntary function, right? So this is about the myocardium, right? So this myocardium is mainly responsible for the contraction as well as relaxation of the heart chambers. Okay, heart chambers, right? So this is the main responsible for the contraction as well as relaxation of the both auricles and both ventricles, right? And last one is endocardium, right? So last one is the endocardium. Last one is the endocardium, right? So endocardium is the innermost layer of the heart, right? So this is the innermost layer of heart. This is the innermost layer of heart, and it is thin connective tissue layer, right? So endocardium is the innermost layer of the heart wall, and it is thin connective tissue layer, right? It will covers the inner portion of the cell, that is inner portion of the both auricles as well as ventricles, right? And it is also characterized by presence of, it is characterized by presence of squamous epithelial cells or tissues. Okay, squamous epithelial cells. Okay, so endocardium, it is the innermost layer of the heart, right? And it is thin connective tissue layer, and it is also characterized by the presence of squamous epithelial cells. right? So this is about the endocardium, right? So these are about the wall of the heart, right? So we will move next, that after the wall of heart we will discuss the chambers of the heart, right? So second topic is chambers of heart, right? Chambers of the heart. Okay, so in heart we will find mainly 4 chambers, right? There are 4 chambers in heart. Okay, so there are 4 chambers in heart. Okay, so first 2 are upper chambers and 2 are lower chambers, right? So heart, it consists of mainly 4 chambers. Among 4, 2 are the upper chambers and 2 are the lower chambers, right? So the 2 upper chambers are called as auricles and 2 lower chambers are called as ventricles, right? So 2 upper chambers are called as auricles and 2 lower chambers are called as ventricles. Okay, we will see one by one in detail. So first is the upper chambers, that is auricles. First one is the auricles, right? So auricles, there are 2 auricles. One is left auricle and another one is the right auricle, right? So there are 2 auricles. One is left auricle, another one is the right auricles, right? So left auricle. Okay, so what happened in left auricle? This portion, right? So auricles are those which are small in structure as compared to the ventricles, right? So auricles are smaller as compared to ventricles, right? Okay, see here, these are the 2 auricles. Okay, one is right auricle, one is left auricles, right? So these auricles are smaller as compared to the ventricles. Their size is smaller as compared to the ventricles. And second point is that the myocardial layer or myocardial tissue of the auricles are thin as compared to the myocardial of the ventricles, right? Second point is the myocardial muscle or layer is smaller as compared to ventricles, right? Why? The question is why? Why this myocardial muscles of the auricle is less or small as compared to the myocardial of the ventricles, myocardial layer of the ventricles, right? Why means, see here, these auricles, for example, we will take the right auricle here. Okay, we will take the left auricle here because we are discussing about the left auricle, right? So what happens here? This left auricle will get oxygenated blood, right? So we are discussing about left auricle, right? So in left auricle, it receives oxygenated blood. It receives oxygenated blood from pulmonary veins, right? From 4 pulmonary veins, right? So the pulmonary veins will bring the oxygenated blood from lungs. Okay, this pulmonary veins will bring oxygenated blood from lungs to the left auricle at this region, right? So the oxygenated blood will bring by the pulmonary veins to the left auricle, right? So after what happens, this left auricle will contract and the blood which is present in the left auricle will move to the left ventricle, right? So I told that this left auricle has the small or low myocardial tissue as compared to the ventricle, because this left auricle will contract and just blood moves from auricle to the ventricle. But in case of here ventricles, what happens when this ventricles start to contract, what it will do? It will transfer the blood to the aorta. From the aorta, the blood is supplied to the all part of the body, right? So because of that, it required more force of contraction, because it should transfer the blood towards the all parts of the body. That's why it's required more power of the contraction as compared to the auricles. That's why this left ventricle have more amount of myocardial tissue as compared to the left auricle or auricles, right? This is the reason. Okay, and this left auricle is open to the left ventricle, right? So this left auricle is open to the left ventricle. This opening is guarded by, this opening is guarded by a flap-like structure. Okay, we will discuss that. Let me rub this. Right? Okay. So this left auricle is open to the left ventricle. Okay. So at that point, the left auricle will opens to the left ventricle by bicuspid valve. Okay, so there is a valve present at the opening of the left auricle to the left ventricle, right? So that valve is called as bicuspid valve. Okay, bicuspid valve is nothing but there is a two flap-like structures. Okay, bicuspid valve is nothing but there is the two flap-like structure present at the opening of the left auricle to the left ventricle, right? And second one is right auricle. We will discuss about right auricle. Right auricle, right? So what happens in right auricles, right? So right auricles are so same as well left auricle in shape, in shape and in composition, right? But the major difference is that this right auricles receives only deoxygenated blood. Okay, so this right auricle receives only deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood, right? So this right auricle receives only deoxygenated blood from all parts of the body, right? So there are mainly two major veins which are connected to the right auricles. What are those? Okay, so the name of those major veins are, one is precaval vein and another one is postcaval vein, right? So there are two major veins of the body which is connected to the right auricles, right? So what is the function of precaval and postcaval, right? We will see. precaval vein. It is also called as superior vena cava. Okay, so precaval vein, it is also called as superior vena cava. What it will do? It will receive only deoxygenated blood from the upper portion of the body, right? So this precaval vein or superior vena cava receives only deoxygenated blood from the upper portion of the body or upper parts of the body. And postcaval, what is the function of the postcaval vein, right? This postcaval is also called as inferior vena cava, right? Postcaval veins is also called as inferior vena cava. What it will do? It receives deoxygenated blood from the lower parts of the body, right? So what it will do? It receives deoxygenated blood from lower parts of the body, right? What it will do? It will receive only deoxygenated blood from the lower parts of the body, and those deoxygenated blood is subjected to the right auricle. Means right auricle receives only deoxygenated blood, right? And another one special character of this right auricle is that it is characterized by presence of a node, okay, a pacemaker node. That is sinoauricular node. We will discuss that later. Okay, this is about the right auricle. And the right auricle is open to the right ventricle, right? Again, there is one vein or one valve which is present at the opening of the right auricle to the right ventricle, right? So the valve is present at the opening of right auricle to the right ventricle, right? That valve is known as tricuspid valve. That valve is known as tricuspid valve, right? Tricuspid valve is present at the opening of the right auricle to the right ventricle, right? So tricuspid, as the name indicates, tri means three, right? So there are three flap-like structure. Okay, there are three flap-like structure present at this region. Okay, that's what is called as tricuspid. Flap-like and cup-like structure. Cuspid, right? Flap-like and cup-like structure or half-like structure. That's what is called as tricuspid valve, which is the opening of the right auricle to the right ventricle, right? So tricuspid valve is present at opening of the right auricle to the right ventricle, and bicuspid valve is present at the opening of the left auricle to the left ventricle. Don't get confused. Okay, the bicuspid valve is present at the left auricle to the left ventricle, and tricuspid valve is present at the opening of the right auricle to the right ventricle. So this is about some brief about auricles, both about right auricles as well as left auricle, right? So we will move towards the ventricles. Ventricles. Right? So ventricles are nothing but ventricles are those which are lower two chambers of the heart. Okay, ventricles are lower two chambers of heart. Right? What are ventricles? Ventricles are nothing but the lower two chambers of the heart. Okay. So there are two ventricles. Well, we know that there are two ventricles. One is left ventricle and another one is right ventricle, right? So there are two ventricles, one is left ventricle and another one is the right ventricle. Okay, we will see one by one. So first one is the left ventricle, right? So already I told that the left ventricles are larger in size as compared to the auricles, right? So ventricles are larger than auricles, right? The first point is that ventricles are larger than the auricles, right? And second one is that already we told that this ventricle have much myocardial tissue or cardiac tissue as compared to the right auricle or auricles, right? So if you see the ratio, it is about 3:1, right? So if 3% of this ventricle contains 3% of the cardiac tissue or cardiac muscles, and this auricles contains only 1% of the cardiac muscle, because ventricle have to supply blood from heart to the some extent distance of the heart, but auricles what they do, they will just transfer the blood from auricle to the ventricle, which is very shorter distance, but ventricle have to displace the blood from heart to the somewhat longer distance of the parts of the body, right? That's why it has more amount of ventricles, have more amount of cardiac muscles as compared to the auricles, right? And third point is that the blood, we are discussing about left ventricle, right? So the blood which is present at the left ventricle, that is oxygenated blood, okay, that oxygenated blood is transferred to the left ventricle, right? So the oxygenated blood from left auricle is transferred to the right ventricle. Okay. So however, the blood, oxygenated blood from the left auricle is came into the left ventricle. So after what happened here? Okay. So this blood, okay, this oxygenated blood is transferred to the aorta, systemic aorta. Okay. So the left ventricle is subjected to, or the left ventricle is connected to a large artery, connected to the very large artery, right? Very large artery. The name of that artery is aorta. Aorta, okay? So aorta is the very large artery in our body, okay? So this left ventricle is connected to the very large artery of the body, it is aorta, right? From the aorta, the blood is transferred to the different parts of the body, right? So this is one point. And next point is that if you see the inner portion of the ventricle, both in left ventricle as well as both in right ventricle, right? So if you see the inner portion of the ventricle, there is characterized by presence of a pyramidal shaped or triangular shaped muscles, right? Let me rub this. Okay. So next point is that at the inner portion of the lower portion of the ventricles, okay, at the lower portion of the ventricles is characterized by presence of, okay, at the inner as well as lower portion of the ventricle is characterized by presence of a muscle. That muscle is called as papillary muscle. Papillary muscle. See here, at this portion, right here. So this is the pyramidal shaped or triangular shaped muscles. So these are the pyramidal shaped or triangular shaped muscles. So these muscles are called as papillary muscles, right? So the papillary muscles are the triangular or pyramidal shaped muscle which is present at the lower portion or inner portion of the ventricle, that is both right ventricle as well as left ventricle, right? So again another one point, these papillary muscles are connected to the tricuspid valve as well as bicuspid valve, right? So these muscles, papillary muscles, are connected to the tricuspid valve as well as bicuspid valve. Okay, how they are get connected to that? Okay, so they are connected to that with the help of a fibers-like structures, right? So the papillary muscles are get connected with tricuspid and bicuspid valve, right? Tricuspid at the left ventricle, okay, and right auricle, and bicuspid at the left auricle and the left ventricle, okay. So these fibers, with the help of these fibers, these papillary muscles are get connected to the tricuspid, okay, this is tricuspid and this is bicuspid, okay. That muscle fiber, that fiber is called as cardiac tendon, right? What is the name of that fiber? That is cardiac tendon, right? The name of that fiber is cardiac tendon. Okay, cardiac tendon is the fiber which is connects the papillary muscles to the tricuspid valve or papillary muscle to the bicuspid valve, both in the cases, right? This is about the ventricles, right? And so next is, let me rub this. And next is, we will discuss about semilunar valves, right? Okay, before going to semilunar valves, we will revise once again. So we know that right auricle which receives the deoxygenated blood from the precaval and postcaval, right? So this right auricle is open to the right ventricle with the opening of the valve, that is tricuspid valve, right? And left auricle, okay, left auricle receives only oxygenated blood, right? Only oxygenated blood, and this is transferred to the left ventricle through an opening called as bicuspid valve, right? So this deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle is transferred to the pulmonary artery, right? So deoxygenated blood from right ventricle is transferred to the, where? This one, pulmonary artery, right? Pulmonary artery, right? So the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle is transferred to the pulmonary artery, okay? Pulmonary artery will take the blood to the, where? It will take the blood to the lungs, right? So the pulmonary artery will takes deoxygenated blood to the lungs, where the deoxygenated blood is converted, or deoxygenated blood is transferred to the oxygenated blood, okay? What happens in lungs? the conversion of deoxygenated blood to oxygenated blood, right? Okay, so what happens? Right auricle have the deoxygenated blood that is transferred to the right ventricle, right? Right ventricle will send that deoxygenated blood to the pulmonary artery, and pulmonary artery brings that blood to the lungs, where deoxygenated blood is converted to the oxygenated blood. Okay, so this oxygenated blood from the lungs is carried by this pulmonary veins. Okay, keep it in mind. Oxygenated blood from lungs, okay, oxygenated blood from lungs is carried by pulmonary vein, right? So oxygenated blood from the lungs is carried by pulmonary veins. Okay, these pulmonary veins will opens to the left auricle, right? When they open to the left auricle. Okay, then this oxygenated blood is transferred to the left ventricle through bicuspid valve, and this left ventricle send or transfer the oxygenated blood to the it is transferred to a major artery, that is aorta. This aorta will send all parts of the body. Okay, it will send blood to the all parts of the body. It is the exact mechanism of the transfer of the blood. Okay, there is another important point is that, keep it in mind, that veins and arteries, right? There is a lot of confusion some people have to do. There is veins and arteries, right? Veins brings blood towards the heart, okay? Direction, that is veins brings blood always towards the heart. Keep it in mind, right? And arteries, what we do? They will always move the blood away from the heart. Right? So what the veins do? They will brings blood towards the heart, and arteries, what they do? They will transfer the blood away from the heart. Okay? Keep it in mind, right? And next concept is pacemaker tissues of the heart, right? Before going to the pacemaker tissues of the heart, we will see the semilunar walls of the heart, this portion, right? So next point is semilunar walls of heart, right? What are the semilunar walls of the heart, right? Where they are present. So semilunar walls of the heart is nothing but these are the open gate of the gateway of the blood from right ventricle or from ventricles to the other blood vessels of the heart. For example, he is here at the right ventricle. Okay, at right ventricle, what happens in right ventricle? It transfers deoxygenated blood to the pulmonary artery, right? So see here, this is the pulmonary artery, right? This is the right ventricle. Okay, so the deoxygenated blood will flow from this direction like this, right? So at this region, at the opening of the pulmonary artery, at this region we have a half moon-like structures, right? There is at the opening of the pulmonary artery, there is a half moon-like structure were present. Okay, so that half moon-like structure is nothing but the semilunar valve. So that structure is semilunar valves, right? So these semilunar valves are nothing but the gates for the opening of the pulmonary artery, as well as, okay, in case of right ventricle and in case of left ventricle, it is also same as like right ventricle, right? So at right ventricle, it supplies oxygenated blood. It supplies oxygenated blood to the which one? Aorta, right? That is systemic aorta. It is also called as systemic aorta, right? So at the opening of the systemic aorta, there is also presence of 3 half moon-like structure, right? So that half moon-like structure is nothing but the semilunar valves. Okay, it's like 3 flaps. It looks like 3 flaps, or looks like half moon flap or half moon structures. So this is called as semilunar valves. So these are the semilunar valves of the heart, right? And second topic is pacemaker tissues of heart, right? So the second one is pacemaker tissues of heart. Pacemaker tissues of the heart, right? So majorly in heart there are 4 pacemaker tissues, right? So first one is SAN, that is sino-arterial node, and second one is AVN, that is arterial ventricular node, and third one is bundle of His, right? And the fourth one is Purkinje fibers, right? So there are mainly 4 pacemaker tissues of the heart, right? 4 pacemaker tissues of the heart. One is SA, and it is sino-auricular arterial node, and AV, and it is arterial ventricular node, and third one is bundle of His, and fourth one is the Purkinje fibers. Okay, see here, right? So this is the sino-arterial node, and this one is the auriculoventricular node, and this portion, okay, this portion is the bundle of His, right? And this branching points, okay, this region is called as the Purkinje fibers. Okay, so these 4 tissues are the pacemaker tissues of the heart. Okay, we will see one by one. Let me know this. Okay, so first one is SAN, that is sino arterial node or sino-arterial node. Okay. So where exactly it is present, right? So first point is that it is present in the right artery, right? It is present in the right artery. Where it is present in the right artery, right? Exact location. Okay, it is present near to the superior vena cava. Okay, it is present near to the superior vena cava or precaval vein, right? So what it is, where it is present? Sino-arterial node. It is present in the right atrium, and in the right atrium it is present near to the superior vena cava or precaval vein, right? So what is the function of this, right? So the main function of this sino-arterial node is it is to conduct or to generate the cardiac impulse. So second point is that SAN function is to generate and conduct the cardiac impulse, right? So its main function is to generate the cardiac impulse as well as conduct the cardiac impulse, right? If you see the structure, okay, if you see the structure of the sino-arterial node, right? So sino-arterial node is characterized by special kind of cells, right? So it has the special kind of cells. Okay, so what is that cell name? Okay, so this SAN have characterized with presence of special kind of cells. Okay, that cells is called as P cells. Okay, so those cells are called as P cells. P stands for pacemaker cells. Okay, those cells are called as pacemaker cells, right? So if you see the main characters of the pacemaker cells, okay, these pacemaker cells have high amount of glycogen and high amount of mitochondria, right? They have the high amount of glycogen as well as they contain high amount of the mitochondria, right? Along with this, okay, these cells, along with these cells, they have some fibers. Okay, next point is that this SAN cells are SAN special cells, that is pacemaker cells or P cells. Along with these P cells, they have the fibers. Okay, fibers are thin fibers. They have the thin fibers. Along with they have the thin fibers which are elongated in form, right? So along with P cells or along with P maker cells, there is characterized by presence of the some elongated as well as thin fibers. Okay, they are present along with the P cells. Okay, what they will do? What is their function? Right? So we know that already we know that SAN, sino-arterial node. Okay, what will it do? It will generate the cardiac impulse. Right? The main function of the SN is that it will generate the cardiac impulse, and not only generation, it also transfer and also conduction of the cardiac impulse. Right? So the function of this is to originate, okay, or formation of the cardiac impulse as well as conduction of the cardiac impulse. Right? So this is about the sino-arterial node. Right? So second one is what? Atrioventricular node. Okay. So second pacemaker tissue of the heart is what? Second one is AVN. Right? AVN means atrial ventricular node, right? Arterial ventricular node. Okay. So where exactly it is present? That is the question, right? So if you see the diagram, so this part, right? This part is nothing but the arterioventricular node, right? So it is present. It is present at the posterior region of auricle, that is right auricle, and present near to the right ventricle, and also situated exactly near to the one important part of the heart, that is coronary sinus, right? So coronary sinus is also one of the most important part of the heart, right? Okay, what is the main function of the AVN, right? That is arterial ventricular node. What is the main function? What it is doing? Okay, so it function is to originate, or its function is to produce the cardiac impulse, as well as it conduct the cardiac impulse, right? So as like sinoarterial node, this arterial ventricular nodes also produce the, or it will generates the cardiac impulse, right? It is also generates the cardiac impulse as well as conduct the cardiac impulse. Okay, so this, what is the major difference? Okay, however, this AVN also producing the cardiac impulse, right? And SN also producing the cardiac impulse. So what is the major difference in that? Okay, so the major difference in that is the potential of the production of the cardiac impulse by the SAN is more as compared to the AVN. Okay, this is the major difference, right? So this is about the arterial ventricular node, which is also a pacemaker of the heart, right? And third one is that, okay, third one is that bundle of His, right? So third one is the bundle of His, right? So this is the third tissue of the pacemaker of the heart, right? So what exactly it is, right? So bundle of His is nothing but a bunch of fibers. Yes. So this is the bunch of fibers, okay, bunch of fibers which originates from, okay, bunch of fibers originate from AVN, okay, it's originate from AVN and moves posteriorly to the heart part, okay, at this region, this direction, okay, and moves posteriorly to the heart chambers, right? So bundle of His is nothing but a bunch of fibers which originate from the AVN and moves posteriorly to the heart chambers, okay, this downward direction. See here, okay, this is the AVN, okay, from the AVN, see here, there is a bunch of fibers, okay, this is the bunch of fibers, right? So this bunch of fibers is nothing but this one, bundle of His, okay. So this bundle of His, while moving downward, what happens? It will splits, okay, while moving downward, while moving downward, it splits into left and right branches. Okay, so while moving downward, okay, while the moving downward of the bundle of fields, what will do? It will branches out. Okay, it will branches out into right branch and left branch, right? And also it continues to move and cover the ventricular portions, lower portion of the ventricles, right? So this is about the bundle of His. Okay, so what is the main function? Say it can also, okay, last point is that it can also generate the cardiac impulse, right? It can also generate the cardiac impulse and it also conduct the cardiac impulse, right? But the difference is that the potential which is generated by the bundle of His is very low. Okay, it will generate the very low potential of the cardiac impulse as compared to the SAL as well as AVL, right? So this is about the bundle of His, okay, which is the one of the pacemaker tissues of the heart. Okay, so last one is that, okay, let me grab this, and last one is that Purkinje fibers. Fourth one is Purkinje fibers. Okay, so what exactly Purkinje fibers are, right? So Purkinje fibers are nothing but these are the split portions or split parts of the bundle of His. Purkinje fibers are nothing but the split portion or split part of the bundle of His. See here, okay, so this split portion will continue and cover the whole ventricles like this, and it continue to covers the lower portion of the ventricles. Okay, so those lower portion of the ventricles or those lower portion of the fibers are nothing but Purkinje fibers, right? So what are Purkinje fibers? These are the splitted portion or splitted part of the bundle of His, okay, and they will, second point is that they will cover entire portion of ventricle, right? They will cover entire portion of the ventricle. Okay, and third point is that they mainly involved in conduction of cardiac impulse. Okay, the major function are they are mainly involved in the function that is conduction of the cardiac impulse, right? So when this Purkinje fiber cover lower portion of the ventricles or major portion of the ventricle, they will stimulate the cardiac cardiac tissue to contract. Okay, so that is depends upon the heartbeat. Okay, if the heartbeat is very strong or very fast, that is stimulated to these Purkinje fibers as well as bundle of His to contract very strongly or contract suddenly. Okay, so this is about some brief introduction or brief portion of the Purkinje fibers, or these are the some brief introduction about the pacemaker tissues of the heart. Okay, so this is about the structure as well as some brief introduction of the heart. Okay, if you like the video, please comment, subscribe. Thank you.